Okay, I'm not sure if I'm live yet. There's no feedback. Oh, wait, I see myself now. All right. Hello, everybody. This is strange. I feel like I'm talking to everybody and nobody all at the same time. I am sitting here right now sending out a few last minute invites. Are we live, Chris? Are we live?
I heard the part. I even heard the part where you said, "I'm not sure if I'm live yet."
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yay.
Just a little bit of lag.
Yay. Okay, good. So Chris is back there. She's helping me out. And yeah, so I gotta get all these like links out anyway. So we're gonna start while I'm doing this with the song "Hold Me Down." This is the very first song on the album, and then we're gonna talk about it, maybe do some Q&A afterwards, and then we're gonna listen to Colors. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. All right, here we go. Please let me know if you can hear this tune. And it's the first time I've done this. Enjoy.
Erode me down and break my bones. Release my soul, don't tear me down. Don't hold me close. You'll hold me down. Don't hold me close. You'll hold me down, down. As the dark times winter calls, I'll watch your bold heart bleed out, but don't hold me close. You'll hold me down. Don't hold me close. You'll hold me down, down. I try not to fear. I try not to fear. Try not to fear your love. And as your heart begins to bleed out, I will watch you
Okay, so that is Hold Me Down. in that track, we were in the studio. That's the very first song that we recorded. And originally what we were having, we were going to have the song third on the album. But then once we started like hearing how all the songs started working together, we decided that it was best to hit like it hard first. We had this really ambient section that we were actually going to add in with at the beginning of this, and we play that ambient section live. But then it was like, it doesn't really work, and it wasn't really played well, and I don't know. We just decided to scrap it. It was supposed to go after Colors and create this nice like bridge feeling between the two of them. So I'm just curious if y'all have any questions in this. I'm gonna look for that little ambient thing. I think I have it. I think I have it in here, and I think I can play it for you. Yeah, it's not in the master, but it was in the mixes. And hold me down mix. Is it in here? Is it in here? Oh. So this is the unmastered version. And listen to how the song originally started. Whoops, wrong button. We don't want to play that one. Ooh, spooky. Okay, what do you think? Like, do you like that version better, or do you like the version where it just like hits you and like gets right into it? I'm not sure yet. So like, I like the ambient stuff. I think in the future we're going to be creating a much more like every song is going to have like a passive, a passage in between, and we're really trying to just focus on like creating so much more feeling on stage and like in between songs, and trying to create an atmosphere around the show and not just like, you know, song after song after song. Okay, thanks, Jessa. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I've seen you comment since like day one, and I'm always like, I just recognize the eyeball in there. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you're in there. It's funny. There's so many people that have like started following me with like 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, and I know who you are. Like I see your comments come in all the time, and I'm always like, like Twitter Ravenna Bonnet, just a perfect example. Like, thank you, Adrian. Yeah. So, any questions about that one? Hold Me Down was performed with Jarrett Samples, Ben Haber, and we had Brooke Hayes on strings. She came in for the studio. It was more of an afterthought. We like listened to the song and we were like, what do we do now? That's right, we'll put strings in here. And so, yeah, we mastered it or we mixed it at London Bridge and recorded it at London Bridge as well. So, if there's no questions about me or the song itself, I think I've said just about everything that I can say about this song. So let's listen to Colors. You want to listen to Colors? Okay, silence. Expected silence. All right, let's pull up Colors. And so Colors is one about, oh, that's the raw mix. You don't want to hear that one. That one's not a good version. I mean, it's fine, but you know, just I prefer the masters. I hope you do too. Okay, here's Colors. I'll be answering questions in the chat in the meantime. The tour setup.
Share all your colors, don't be a coward now. others control us if we so let them know. See who you'll be when you go far away. See who you'll be when you live true to me. Share all your colors, don't be a coward now. 'Cause others define us if we so let them know. When you ride, don't let others bring you down. You wanna fall, but show your strength for those around. And see who you'll be when you go far away. See who you'll be when you live true to me. Share all your colors, don't be a coward now.
Okay. Thank you for listening. So that song, let's see here, go back to my questions. So Charlotta asked, did I record this independently or did I have others producing? So I actually went to London Bridge Studios to record this song. And it's Dave Grohl's studio. This is my kitty. He wants to be on TV. So thanks, Sophie. So I went to London Bridge. It's one of the better studios in town. We feel really like connected as a group, and like we really feel like everything's just kind of sitting in like a good pocket right now. So it's like we we wanted to showcase the music that we will be creating in the future in the best way. We wanted to really put our best foot forward. I sort of feel like everything that I've done before was like me finding my sound. I think Fall was the closest to like the sound itself. And that was produced by a guy named, who I missed dearly. I sent him an email. His name is Curtis Dahl. He moved on to Portland, and I sent him a little email related. I was like, I missed you. I tried to produce this one on my own. How did I do? And he said, like, actually, he hasn't said anything yet. I wish he would. I haven't heard from him from over a year now. So yeah, it was produced by me. It was mixed by Julian Baker, I think his last name was. I'm not sure entirely. And then it was engineered at London Bridge Studios. So thanks for asking that question. So this song, if you notice, has harp on it. I originally wrote this tune to have piano. And like when I was producing this work, like I sat, we engineered the whole thing. We laid down all the tracks, and then there was like this point in time that lasted about 2.5 months. It was during when I was having my surgery stuff as well. That I was like just listening to these tracks again and again and again and again, trying to put every little piece in where it like fit well. And I wrote piano for this song. But then as we started talking about it more and more and more, and partly because of cost, it was really expensive to go back and re-record piano, we brought in Alyssa Martini, who, I don't know if you've seen the other videos on my YouTube channel of like This Time and Solace, but Alyssa's the one person in the back playing drums. She is a extremely talented musician. She actually is just getting back from Japan on a tour. Anyway, she plays harp. She plays harp phenomenally, and she played harp for us on this tune. So, yeah. And I don't know what else to say about this song. Somebody asked about if I'm going to Canada. I answered it in the thing, but I only did it like halfway. Bree, that's right. Bree asked if I'm going to Canada. So the short answer is yes. But the long answer is that I really didn't want to be getting a passport until I have had a gender marker change in my birth certificate. I'm from Michigan, and Michigan requires you to have had surgery. You know, one of those gatekeepers. And so I decided that it was best for me to go and do that first, and then reapply for a passport. I used to have a passport. I used to go to Poland, or I didn't used to go. I lived in Poland for 2 months when I was like 10 years old. And then I came back to Michigan, and my passport just expired. And so I can change my birth certificate, which means that it'll be easy for me to get a passport now. Yay! Okay. So thank you, Kristen. I love the flow and the mood of the song as well. Yeah, Virginia. I don't know the rules in Virginia there. I still don't know how to pronounce your name. Sheska. Is that it? Did I get it right? I hope so. But I appreciate you sharing those LGBT friendly venues. So one thing that I'm kind of nervous of, and if you have any sort of recommendations on venues, please send them my way. It makes me nervous as a trans performer to go to different towns that are really small and then perform for people who may or may not be accepting. Sheska, sweet, thanks. And so, yeah, if you have like different recommendations on venues that you know or love that would be accepting of me, that would be awesome. So I also mentioned above that I just want to say, like, kind of going along with this idea, I also we're touring. We're trying to tour. It's going to be a challenge. But I'm taking the approach of looking at colleges and their LGBT organizations, and then trying to like find ways that we can like collaborate and make a concert together. Okay, so if anybody has any other questions, now's a chance. Otherwise, we're going to listen to the last song, which is Out of the Shadows. Okay, I know there's a delay here, so I'm like kind of waiting to see if anybody had anything else. People that aren't accepting don't deserve to enjoy your music. And you're damn right. All right, let's listen to Out of the Shadows. This one is a little bit different than the acoustic one, and I appreciate you all being here and listening to the music. If you want to purchase the album, it's on Bandcamp, and it'll be on streaming on May 16th everywhere else. Oh, I'll answer that question when I get back. Here we go.
Face too when I look at you, and I see your eyes glow like mine, and don't let them tell you you're born this way, 'cause I know that you know who you are.
Okay, so I just posted a link in the chat about this song in particular. That's Jarrett, my guitarist. He's in the studio there. And that video that I posted, like I think it was yesterday, it has Jarrett and I talking about a very, very specific part in Out of the Shadows. Because after, I wonder if I have that version too. Ooh. So after the bridge in Out of the Shadows, it was like it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and then you get to this like climax that happens, and then all of a sudden, before everything got laid down, it was just like it fell flat. There was like nothing there. And so we, as a band, like we're listening and rattling our brains, and we were like, what do we need? What should we do to make this higher energy? So Jarrett laid down a third guitar part. When you don't know what to do, just add more guitar. And and it worked. So that part just like totally kicks ass. We're really happy with it. It didn't like fall down. And now we're like, yeah, that's the song that we've been like pushing and like trying to get more and more people going out. I've been like claiming it's like an anthem or something. I don't know if it is. I was going into like so I was marketing a ton today. That's pretty much all I was doing. I was like emailing people and tweeting at people and hello, Louise. And I was like going through and just trying to get as much recognition, I guess, around this album, like just pushing it to everybody. And one of the things that I was doing was going to the Facebook groups that were all about, like organization, protest organization, protest events, that kind of thing. And I was going in and I was like, if you ever want to use this song for like an event or anything like that, please feel free. I also emailed Pete Buttigieg about this song, and he didn't get back to me. So can we, like, as a group, like, all email Pete Buttigieg about this song and say, like, use this for your rallies? But yeah, I also emailed Out of the Shadows to Pete Buttigieg. I'm not surprised that he didn't get back to me. How involved was I in the arrangement of the accompaniment? Okay, so our band kind of works. Oh, I wonder if I have. Okay. Our band, I was going to show you an example of kind of how it works, but then the guitar's in a case and the whole 9 yards. So our band works in a way that we, I write a song. I usually I'm like really, really just focusing in on emotion and like trying to figure out like what the song means to me and building it like piece by piece by piece, sometimes word by word by word. And eventually what happens is as I get to a point where I'm happy with the song enough that I can bring it to the band. I may only have one verse written, maybe I only have a chorus written, but for the most part I have, like 3 sections of a guitar part written. Verse, maybe it's a verse, maybe it's a chorus, maybe it's a bridge, it could be an interlude. You haven't heard an epic. That one's going to come out. That has 2 interludes in it. It's a 7-minute song. So when that happens, when I bring it to the band, we pretty much play it in the form that I've written it in. And then we just jam on it. We see what fits. We see what doesn't fit. We hit a record button. We record it. Then we listen back to it a couple days later and we say, do we like this song? And if we like this song, then we look at it again and we say, okay, what's next? Do we rearrange it? Do we look at, parts in a different way? Do I play less? Do I play more? And we start to figure out where the pockets are. And then from there, the arrangement starts really taking shape. We've rearranged colors twice. We've rearranged Hold Me Down once. And usually it's very like simple like arrangements, like maybe we'll add an extra measure to create a little more tension, or sometimes or like with Out of the Shadows, we actually added another chorus at the end. So thank you for the question. That was a super, super, super good question. I know, like I always like stutter over my words when I get excited. That's one of the things. That's why when I vlog, I'm always like cutting myself like before I get to the end of the sentence. Anyway, so I also want to bring up May. I was going to do that before you said anything, May. So May was the one who shot all of the like behind the scenes stuff. And then there was another guy named Quentin who was with us as well, actually in the studio on the engineering day. And May was shooting a lot of the video that you see. So May, if you want to see who May is in the Love Me behind the scenes like studio day, May is the first person in the car with me. You may have seen her in a few different videos. So yeah, thank you, Kristen. I have stepped out of the shadows. Okay. Stacey, I really did like your question. That was a great, great question. Charlotta, these songs sound retro. I did not intend for this to happen. So I have my roots in folk music. Some of my very, very early influences were like well, actually, the tallest man on earth is the earliest influence that I can actually remember. If you listen to his first like 3 albums, they are all just really like down and dirty folk music, just laying on that guitar and screaming into a microphone. It's wonderful. So when I was growing up and like figuring out who I was as a musician and starting to like write songs, I was like hearing these folk musicians and thinking that that's what all I would do. And when I got to Seattle, I remember walking down to the couch that I was crashing on. I was on Capitol Hill, and I was thinking about like my future. And there's this one moment that I was like, what could I name my act? Like, what could I name my act? And I think I've talked about this in a blog where I was like trying to brand myself, and I was going through a lot of like dark emotions at that time. Like, you know, do I like, you know, ping myself as like a drag performer or something like that, you know? I didn't have a good view of myself at that time. And so I was walking down the street and I was like, you know, thinking of all these dark thoughts. And then one thought came into my head where I was like, maybe I could be like the tallest girl on earth. And I remember that. It was such like a big moment for me, because I think that moment in particular was like the moment that I was like, oh wait, I just don't have to brand myself as like, you know, I'm gonna, sorry, I hate to use this word, but like a traveling tranny or, you know, a drag performer or something. Because that's where my mentality was. I was so concerned with, you know, how people would view me on stage. And now I gave a talk on YouTube like 2 days ago, and one of the curators of the event was like, you know, you're doing really well. You're getting out of just the trans scene and you're going into the bigger culture as well. So yeah, I guess that was kind of a long-winded answer about, you know, the retro. Oh yeah. People say that we sound like Led Zeppelin. My boyfriend is saying that we sound like Led Zeppelin meets Blondie. So I don't know Blondie. I do know Led Zeppelin. I mean, I know who Blondie is, but I just don't listen to any of her music. So yeah. Okay. Any questions here? I could just keep like top of mind talking. I'm glad you guys are sticking around. I'm glad you like my just like my spewing of words here. Thank you, Mr. Big Poop. Mr. Big Pop Pop. Sorry. Let me see if I can find that Out of the Shadows thing in there that I was talking about earlier, where we like totally were like, okay, let's figure out if we have that. I wonder if this is it. I don't know what this sounds like, so hopefully it's the right one. Let's skip ahead. This is after the bridge. Yeah, this is the one. Do you hear how there was like a drop in energy there? So listen to the other one. The other one has that really, really big like energy after the end of the bridge. Let's look at 230, 225. It's louder too, right? This is what a master sounds like versus an unmastered. It's like there's a 16th note that it's playing, 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a... It works really well. So you can hear the difference there. Also, I forgot that I changed my guitar tone on this. Yeah, it was a big deal as well. Okay, so who are some of my personal musical influences? I always get laughed at when I say this one. Coldplay. Believe it or not, Coldplay was the very first band that I had ever like responded to in a positive way. It's like, so when I was young in high school, I could talk about high school. There's a lot of stories about high school. I'm sure we all could talk about high school. So when I was in high school, I went to two different high schools. I switched schools. One just because of bullying, and two because I was in the music program, and the music program actually cut the school cut the music program. So my senior year, I switched schools to go to a better music program. And when I was in my junior year, I was taking a piano lesson, and pretty much this piano teacher was awful. All she did was want to talk, and all I did was want to be around music and play music. And so she one day talked about Coldplay, and I was like, what's that? And she played Clocks for me. And I grew up in Flint. So there is a lot of hip hop, top 40 stuff. And it's a very suburb kind of area as well. So a lot of kids are there. So the music that they play is really young or not what I used to listen to. I used to listen to a ton of hip hop now. But I was I just didn't listen to the radio. My mom was listening to Motown. My dad was listening to only the Beach Boys. That's the only band he ever listened to. And all of a sudden I was like, cool, I found Coldplay. So I listened to Coldplay religiously. Seriously, I have every single one of their albums memorized up to Viva La Vida. And then after that, they kind of Ghost Stories is okay. I give Ghost Stories a pass. But after that, what I just was I was listening to these albums for so long that I was honestly starting to get sick of them. And I didn't know how to find other music because Coldplay was also pegged as top 40. So whenever I would look for other Coldplay artists, it would just be music that I don't like. And so I decided to go to Coldplay. I did some research on Coldplay, and I went to the early record label. And then I found this other band called Goldheart Assembly. Goldheart Assembly is a phenomenal group. They only, I think they still release albums, but they're a UK band and they're not very big, but the albums that they make are just so, so beautiful. So I went and I found Goldheart Assembly, and then from there I found this other band called The Highline. Okay, so with The Highline, this is my very first memory with drugs as well. I remember I was forced to take Vicodin. I had my molars removed, and I remember listening to The Highline and being just this is the first I think ever experience that I just was surrounded in music. It just encompassed me and my soul. And I remember listening to this album in between bursts of pain, sleeping in the living room on the recliner that we had, and all I remember is being encompassed by sound. And so The Highline was the first real band that actually was oh hey, I really, really like music. It's more than just something I like to listen to now and then. Then I made a mistake and I went into classical music, and then I came out of that and I was like, hey, I'm trans, I'm going to Seattle. I'm going to be a rock musician. Okay, peace. Bye. Thank you for the question. That was a good one. I enjoyed that. So let's see here. Yeah, Led Zeppelin and Little Doors. I think I've heard the Doors as well. Definitely the Doors, yeah. Kristen has 12 miles west of Flint. So closer to Detroit, I think. I can't remember. It's been, I don't know, east. I always get my east and west confused. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Let's see. I've heard Fiona Apple's name, but I actually don't know who Fiona Apple is. Do you know who Fiona Apple is?
Oh, I love Fiona Apple.
I've never seen Fiona Apple. I've seen Coldplay twice.
I'll give you
but Swartz Creek. That's right. Yeah. What is the album?
Oh, there's the albums.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's your favorite album?
I'm gonna have to say Tidal. The first one is it's just phenomenal.
Tidal. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to that. Thank you. What are some of your favorite albums? I'm just curious if you have any ideas there. Also, this album is for sale. If you want to go buy it at the Bandcamp. Okay, so I think that's about it. I said I was going to go for an hour, but I'm not sure if anyone else has any more questions. So stick around if you want to answer some questions. I'm going to play this album one more time for anybody who's joining late. And thank you so much for joining me on this live stream. I'm going to continue answering questions in the comments. And would you let me know if this is coming through? I'm going to play it from the Bandcamp, so it just plays in order.
Play it from the Bandcamp, so it plays in order. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Oh, and I do have a favor to ask all of you. I'll answer your question. I have a huge opinion about the trachea shave. But I have a favor to ask. If you can, please share this album with your favorite musicians. Just share it on your own pages. The best way that you can help me as a watcher, a viewer, a fan is
it's supposed to be playing now.
No.
Okay. Good.
Is to just share my stuff. Seriously, that is the best way to do it. Because the more you share, the more it picks up, and the easier it gets. It's how viral things work. Don't even ask me about marketing online. I don't want to get into it. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Okay, so I'll answer this after this. I'll play the album after this thing here. Are you scared to do trachea shave for voice reasons? Okay, so I'm a professional voice teacher. It's what I do on the side. Your trachea is your Adam's apple is about that thin. Okay. The reason the Adam's apple sticks out is because the vocal cords grow longer and they drop a little bit. So as it kind of sits up here, it kind of goes like this, right? Now, what happens is that the vocal cord here doesn't really grow. It just rather sticks out. So you still have about the same mass as you would if it was higher up, pre-puberty. So by saying you're going to get a trachea shave means that you have to trust your surgeon enough to know how thick your trachea or your Adam's apple is, right? You also have to hope and pray that you heal properly and there's no other residual damage around that shave. And if your surgeon does mess up and go a little too thick, guess where he's going? Right into your vocal cords. There's nothing there that is in the way before you get there. It is Adam's apple of vocal cords. And if you have a bad surgeon or somebody messes up, your voice will be ruined for the rest of your life. Now, that's not to say that you can have, voice therapy done and work for years and years and years and years and years to get your voice to a more healthy place, might be a good word. But I don't want to risk that. I have an instrument and I don't want to talk about my instrument. So, yeah. If it's really dysphoric, consider it. If it's one of those things that you're just I can't live without getting a trachea shave, consider it. But for me, my voice is more important than people sing my Adam's apple. So just say no. All right. So thank you. I'm going to play this album one more time. I'll be answering some questions in the chat itself. Thank you, Twitter, Ravenna Bonnet, for pre-ordering this album. There are some pre-orders going around, on iTunes and a few other places. So thank you, and I will be in the chat. And you'll still be able to see my face, I hope. If you don't see my face, something's gone wrong. Thanks.
Erode me down and break my bones. me down. Don't hold me close. You'll hold me down, down. And as the dark turns winter cold, watch your bold heart bleed out, but don't hold me close. You'll hold me down. Don't hold me close. You'll hold me down. Try not to fear. I try not to fear. I try not to fear your love. Share all your colors, don't be a coward now. 'Cause others control us if we so let them know. you'll be when you go far away. See who you'll be when you learn to share all your colors. Don't be a coward now. And I see my face too when I look at you. And I see your eyes glow like mine. And don't let them tell you you're born this way. 'Cause I know that you know who you are. Out of the shadows, out of the and I see my face too when I look at you. And I see your eyes glow like mine. And I know that you know we're living now. 'Cause I feel your heartbeat. 'Cause now you know. Out of the shadows, out of the shadows, as our time comes and goes, you'll know we are souls who change the course for those. Out of the shadows, out of the shadows, out of the shadows, out of the shadows.
Okay, thank you all so much. I've got one more for you. I'm gonna play the first song that I ever wrote. I hope I can get through it. It's been a few years. It's called Red October, and I wrote this in her coffee shop. 1 year, actually, almost exactly 1 year before I left for Seattle. All right. You're gonna see how far I've come. Well, I hope so. I hope you can. On a cold and blistering day in that coffee cafe, found where I was going. Got up, got going, and packed my things and ran. Found where I feel most wanted. Outer red, October, winter's coming, north gets so cold. Let those birds guide me to someplace home. North gets so cold. Let those birds guide me to someplace home. Out of red, October, oh, 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 bird. No car, no job, no money. Somehow that don't faze me. Pop trains or just start walking. As long as I'm gone by winter's first white red October red October red October. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will